Hello, my dear adventurer. It's Drake. Welcome back to another evening of shared stories and quiet journeys. Tonight, we wander into a place where waterfalls sing like silver threads, where lanterns glow as if they've captured starlight, and where the footsteps of ancient elves still linger among the trees. This is Rivendell, the last homely house east of the sea, a refuge of wisdom, music, and hidden paths known only to those who dare to wander deeper into its twilight forests. Imagine yourself crossing its marble bridges, hearing songs carried on the wind, and feeling the weight of ages wrapped softly around you like a cloak. So settle in, let the night embrace you, and together we'll drift along the hidden paths of Rivendell. Step by step, story by story, until sleep carries you gently away. The night is quiet, the stars glimmering above like scattered gems upon velvet. A soft wind carries the scent of pine and river water, cool and clean, as your steps trace a path through the ancient wilderness. The land feels hushed here, as though the mountains themselves lean close to listen. And then, you hear it. Faint at first, a sound like silver threads woven into the night, the song of a river. It grows louder with each step until it fills the air around you, a chorus of rushing waters tumbling down hidden cliffs. Ahead, the path curves sharply, opening suddenly to a breathtaking sight. The Valley of Rivendell. It unfolds before you like a vision from a dreams. Waterfalls cascading down sheer cliffs, their mist catching the moonlight in soft rainbows. Tall pines standing sentinel along the ridges, and in the heart of the valley, half veiled by trees and shadow, the soft glow of elven lanterns. The road beneath your feet is smooth stone, worn by centuries of careful hands, and the very air feels touched by music. Every leaf seems to hum faintly. Every breeze carries a note of harmony, as if the land itself is alive with song. Your boots carry you forward, past ancient archways carved into the stone. Elvish runes glimmer faintly in the moonlight, their meaning unknown to most travelers, yet comforting nonetheless. You trace your hand along the markings, and for a moment, warmth spreads through your fingertips, as though the stone remembers every soul who has passed before you. Crossing a narrow bridge of pale marble, you glance down at the river rushing below. Its waters sparkle as though laced with starlight, flowing endlessly into the valley's heart. You pause, letting the sound wash over you. Soothing, timeless, eternal. And then you hear voices. Not loud, not close, but drifting like echoes on the wind. Elves, perhaps, singing somewhere deeper in the valley. Their words are distant, ungraspable, yet the melody tugs at your heart. Gentle, mournful, beautiful beyond anything mortal tongues could shape. When you reach the far side of the bridge, a great gate rises before you. It isn't made of iron or wood, but of woven branches and silver, living and growing, as though the forest itself has shaped its own threshold. Lanterns hang from the arch, glowing softly like captured stars. The gate stands open. You take one step inside, and the world shifts. The air is warmer here, scented with flowers that bloom even under moonlight. Trees arch high overhead, their branches tangled with silver threads of ivy that glitter faintly, as if spun from moonbeams. Paths wind in quiet curves, some broad and well marked, others hidden and narrow, vanishing into thickets of shadow, the hidden paths of Rivendell. And for the first time tonight, you realize this valley is not just a refuge, but a labyrinth. One where each turn, each trail, might lead not just deeper into the land, but deeper into history, into memory, into song. You pause, the brass lantern in your hand flickering as though uncertain. Ahead lies silence, mystery, and the promise of secrets only elves remember. And with a quiet breath, you step forward. The gate closes softly behind you, though no hands touch it. Perhaps it was the wind, or perhaps Rivendell itself, choosing to welcome you deeper. The path curves forward, paved with pale stones that glow faintly in the moonlight. Each step feels lighter, as though the earth itself wishes to ease your journey. You follow the trail as it bends through tall trees, their silver, green leaves whispering against one another, carrying a music too soft to name. And then you hear it. Water, not rushing like the river below, but falling in song. A dozen voices weaving together into a single harmony. You follow the sound until the trees part, and the sight before you steals the breath from your chest. The fountains of Rivendell, carved of white marble veined with gold, they rise like blossoms from the earth, their basins wide and shallow, overflowing with crystal water. Lanterns hang from branches above, casting soft light upon the streams. The water leaps upward in graceful arcs, shimmering as though stars themselves have melted into liquid. The sound is music. Not simply the splash of water upon stone, but a chorus. Soft notes woven by some unseen magic, each drop striking as though it were a harp string plucked by gentle hands. The air hums with it, surrounding you in a melody both soothing and sorrowful, as if the fountains remember every tale of Rivendell and sing them still. At the edges of the courtyard, gardens bloom. Tall lilies stretch pale faces toward the moon, their petals glowing faintly, kissed by enchantment. Clusters of violet twilight, flowers sway with no wind, their fragrance drifting like a lullaby through the night. The grass is soft beneath your feet, damp with dew, yet it seems to glow faintly, like emerald velvet laid out for travelers. You sit at the edge of one fountain, your hand brushing the water. It is cool, impossibly pure, and for a moment you feel as though it slips through not just your fingers, but your thoughts, washing them clean, quieting every noise inside you. Somewhere nearby, faint voices rise again. Elves. Their song threads through the water's music, indistinguishable from it, as though the fountains themselves lend them their harmony. The words are not yours to understand, but the tone is. It speaks of memory, of longing, of nights that last forever and mornings that never need to come. In the distance, pathways branch from the gardens. One drifts toward the lantern-lit arches of Rivendell's halls, where warm fires surely glow inside. Another winds deeper into shadow, toward groves where the moonlight barely reaches. And others still disappear entirely, curling into secret corners of the valley. Paths made for those who seek what lies hidden. You remain by the fountains, listening, watching the water leap and fall. Time feels different here, stretched and softened, as though an hour might pass in a heartbeat, or a heartbeat might linger forever. You press your palm against the marble edge, cool and solid, grounding you in this dreamlike place. And as you close your eyes, you swear the water sings just for you. A melody meant to guide you, to remind you that you too are part of Rivendell's story now. When you rise, the night seems deeper, the stars brighter. The gardens stretch ahead, their blossoms swaying in silence, waiting for your next step. The hidden paths call, and you follow. The garden path narrows, winding upward through an arch of flowering vines. Their blossoms, pale as starlight, brush your shoulders as you pass, releasing a fragrance that lingers like memory. Ahead, the glow of lanterns grows brighter, golden instead of silver now, warmer, alive with the promise of voices and hearthfire. At last, you step onto a wide terrace of smooth stone. Beyond its carved balustrades, waterfalls tumble into the valley below, their spray catching the light like drifting gems. And there, at the terrace's heart, stand the halls of Elrond. The architecture is unlike any you have seen, sweeping roofs of pale wood, carved with spirals that echo the shape of leaves, columns etched with flowing runes, windows like open petals, casting warm light into the night. No wall feels heavy or closed. Every line curves upward, as if even the buildings themselves long to join the stars. You step closer, the faint hum of music spilling through the open doors. It is not loud, not boisterous, but woven with grace. The strum of harps, the low sigh of flutes, the voices of elves singing in harmony. Their song drifts outward like smoke, curling around you before vanishing into the night. Crossing the threshold, the warmth embraces you at once. The great hall stretches high above, its beams arching like branches, its ceiling painted in hues of dawn and dusk. Lanterns hang from silver chains, glowing like soft suns. A fire burns in the hearth, not fierce but steady, its flames dancing lazily, as if unbothered by time. Elves move quietly through the space, their robes shimmering faintly, as though woven from moonlight. Some sit at long tables of polished wood, their heads bent in quiet conversation. Others stand near the musicians, their eyes closed as they let the music carry them away. At the far end of the hall rises a great chair of carved wood, simple yet commanding. It is not a throne, for Rivendell is no kingdom, but a seat of wisdom, a place where counsel is given and burdens shared. Though it now stands empty, the presence of Elrond is everywhere here. The walls whisper with his memory, his decisions, his patience. You can almost hear his voice, calm, measured, filled with the weight of centuries. A servant passes you a goblet of clear, cool water, its taste like mountain spring kissed with honey. You sip slowly, the flavor grounding you, even as the hall feels like a dream. Nearby, an elf plucks a harp string, the note resonating deep within you. It feels like the sound has always been there, waiting, a reminder of something lost long ago, but never truly forgotten. You walk further inside, tracing the curves of the walls, the carvings of leaves and flowing rivers. Every inch seems alive, crafted not by hands alone, but by love, by song, by memory. The hall is not a place of grandeur, but of refuge. Here, travelers have come weary and broken, and left with strength anew. Here, choices have been made that shape the fate of Middle-earth. And here, tonight, you simply stand, a quiet guest beneath the lanterns of Rivendell. The fire crackles softly. The song carries on, and you realize you could remain here forever, wrapped in warmth, listening to stories that never end. But outside the hall, the hidden paths still wait, and somewhere among them, more secrets whisper in the shadows. With a quiet breath, you turn from the firelight, stepping back toward the moonlit gardens. The warmth follows you for a time, clinging to your cloak, before fading once more into silver night. The paths beckon, and you walk on. The music of Elrond's hall lingers in your ears as you step back into the night. The valley feels quieter now, softer, as though it, too, has paused to listen. The air is cool, fragrant with pine and distant blossoms, and the sky above glitters with stars, so sharp and clear, it seems you could reach up and pluck them from the heavens. You follow a path that curves away from the lantern glow, descending gently toward the river's song. The deeper you go, the louder it becomes, until it surrounds you in a rush of living silver. Trees part suddenly, and before you stretches one of Rivendell's wonders. A bridge of pale stone, arching gracefully across a waterfall. The water leaps and crashes below, its spray catching the starlight in 1,000 tiny rainbows. The bridge has no railings, no heavy walls. Only slender columns carved with elvish runes, as though the builders trusted more in beauty than in fear. You step onto the bridge, the stone cool beneath your boots. At once the roar of the waterfall deepens, echoing through your bones. Looking down, you see the river churn white with foam, racing over rocks, then smoothing into a glassy pool further below. The spray rises to kiss your face, cool and pure, a blessing from the waters themselves. The bridge sways faintly under your step, not from weakness, but as though it breathes. For a moment, it feels alive, carrying you not just across water, but between worlds. Halfway across, you pause. The moon reflects in the river below, fractured into 100 shimmering shards. Fireflies drift through the mist, their golden glow weaving with the silver spray. Together, they create a light that feels otherworldly, as though the stars themselves have descended to rest upon the river. And then, faintly, you hear singing. Not from the valley above, but from the waters themselves. A whisper, a lullaby carried by the river as it flows. Perhaps it is only the echo of the falls, shaped by elven craft. Or perhaps, as the legends say, the waters of Rivendell truly remember. When you reach the far side of the bridge, the path divides. One trail winds upward along the cliffs, where smaller bridges gleam faintly in the moonlight. A web of crossings that link the valley like strands of a silver harp. Another leads downward toward a secluded grove, where the spray of the waterfall glitters like a curtain of diamonds. You take a moment to simply stand, listening to the river's endless song. Time feels unbound here, each breath stretched wide, each heartbeat echoing against stone and water. The valley does not rush. Neither must you. At last, you step onward, crossing another bridge, then another. Each is different. One of smooth marble, etched with flowing vines, another of living wood, its roots twined around the stone. Another so narrow it feels like a ribbon drawn across the night. From each, the view changes. Sometimes wide, showing the sweep of the valley with its glowing halls and lantern-lit gardens, sometimes close, bringing you face to face with falling water, its spray cool against your skin. By the time you reach the final bridge, the valley behind you gleams like a dream, lanterns glowing, rivers singing, stars caught in the spray. Rivendell surrounds you, cradling you in light, in water, in song. And somewhere in the mist ahead, another hidden path waits. The bridges fade behind you, their silver arches swallowed by mist and moonlight. The path you follow now climbs gently upward, curving through groves where the trees grow tall and still. Their leaves shimmer faintly, catching light that seems to come from nowhere, as though the stars have slipped down to rest upon their branches. At last, the trail opens into a wide terrace. Before you stands a building unlike any other in Rivendell, the library. It is not vast or towering like the halls of men, but graceful, flowing, as if it had grown from the rock itself. Its walls are shaped from pale stone veined with silver, carved with curling designs of vines and rivers. Tall windows stretch from floor to roof, open to the night, their arches lined with ivy that blooms even under starlight. And above, the roof curves like the spread of great wings, sheltering all beneath it. You step inside, and silence greets you. Not an empty silence, but one filled with weight, with presence, as though the air itself remembers every word spoken within. Shelves rise in sweeping arcs, filled with scrolls bound in silk and leather, tomes so old their spines bear only faint traces of elvish runes. Ladders of polished wood lean against them, their rungs worn smooth by centuries of hands. Lanterns hang in delicate chains, their light golden and steady, casting long shadows that dance like whispers across the walls. You wander slowly, your fingertips brushing the spines of books older than kingdoms. Some crackle faintly with magic, their covers warm to the touch. Others hum with faint music, as if they hold not words but songs. At the library's heart stands a great table of oak, its surface etched with maps of forgotten lands and starscapes no longer seen from Middle-earth. Here, parchments lie open, covered in fine elvish script, ink that gleams faintly under lantern light. You lean closer, tracing lines that speak of rivers that no longer flow, of cities crumbled to dust, of journeys lost to time. And then you notice the sound. It begins faintly, almost like the rustle of wind through leaves. But there is no breeze here. The sound deepens, layering upon itself, until it becomes clear the library is whispering. Every page turned, every quill stroke, every echo of words once spoken lingers still. The leaves of books murmur softly, carrying echoes of stories too ancient to name. It is not frightening, but strangely comforting, as if the very library is alive, remembering for those who have forgotten. You pause before a great book resting on a pedestal of marble. Its cover is bound in deep green leather, embossed with silver leaves. When you open it, the script within glows faintly, shimmering like starlight on water. The words are elvish, their meaning hidden from you. But the beauty of the letters alone feels like a song written into the page. For a moment, you imagine Elrond himself seated here, his eyes tracing these same pages, his voice low as he recited tales of old. You picture scholars bent over maps, elves singing softly as they copied scrolls by hand, their patience as endless as the stars. You close the book gently, letting the echoes fade back into silence. The weight of knowledge surrounds you, comforting, humbling, eternal. And when you step back outside, the night feels changed. The stars above seem brighter, the valley deeper, as though the world itself is woven from the stories you have just touched. The library has given you more than memory. It has given you belonging. But the hidden paths are far from finished. And ahead, another mystery stirs. The library's whispers still cling to your mind as you step once more into the night. The path before you is narrow now, less polished, as though it does not often feel the weight of travelers. Lanterns no longer hang from the branches. Instead, the moon alone lights your way, silver and cool upon the stones. The air changes. The gentle hum of the valley falls quiet, replaced by something deeper, older. You follow the curve of the trail as it bends away from the terraces, past moss, covered rocks and roots that seem to curl like sleeping serpents. The trees thicken overhead, their leaves weaving together until the stars vanish, replaced by a soft silver glow. And then the path opens. You find yourself standing at the edge of a grove. Its trees are taller than any you've seen. Their trunks wide as towers, their bark pale as bone, their crowns shimmering with a light not of sun or moon, but something caught between. The air glows with it, soft and eternal, as though here twilight lingers forever. The grove is silent, utterly silent. Even the river's song does not reach here. Yet the silence is not empty. It is vast, watchful, alive. You step forward slowly, your feet sinking into grass so soft it feels like walking upon clouds. The ground is littered with petals that glow faintly in the half light, releasing a fragrance that makes your chest ache with memory you cannot name. At the grove's center stands a pool. Its water is so still it mirrors the sky perfectly. But here, no stars shine. Instead, you see shapes drifting across its surface, faint echoes of elves long gone. Their figures like pale shadows, their faces turned toward the light above. They do not move, do not breathe, but their presence fills the air with sorrow and reverence. It is said the grove is a sanctuary for memory itself. That those who step here feel the weight of ages, not as history, but as presence. And now, standing at its heart, you know it is true. Your breath slows, your thoughts quiet. Time unravels. For a moment, you are not merely yourself. You are every traveler who ever stood here, every elf who ever sang beneath these branches, every whisper that ever drifted through Rivendell's twilight. The silence deepens, and then a sound. A note, faint as a sigh, rises from the pool. Another follows, and another, until the air fills with music so soft you feel it more than hear it. The pool ripples, the figures within it fading as light spreads outward across the grove. The song carries no words, yet you understand it, a hymn to loss, to beauty, to the eternal twilight between memory and forgetting. Tears gather in your eyes, though you cannot say why. The grove has reached into something beyond thought, beyond story, beyond time. And then, as suddenly as it began, the music fades. The pool stills. The silence returns. You step back, your heart heavy and light all at once. Whatever this place holds, it has given you a gift. Not knowledge, not memory, but a reminder that you are part of something greater. A single note in an endless song. As you leave the grove, the path narrows once more, leading back toward the starlight of the valley. Behind you, the grove waits, untouched, eternal, hidden in its endless twilight. And ahead, another secret of Rivendell stirs in the shadows. The twilight grove lingers behind you, its song still echoing faintly in your chest. The path curves upward now, winding along a ridge that overlooks Rivendell's heart. Lanterns return, swaying softly from branches, their glow like warm embers, guiding you back toward the valley's living pulse. Soon, you hear laughter, gentle, melodic, touched with the lightness of joy. It drifts through the air, along with the faint rustle of fabric. Following the sound, you find yourself before a tall building framed by carved pillars, shaped like flowing robes. Its roof curves like an open cloak, its windows draped in silken banners that shimmer in hues of moonlight and dawn. You have found Rivendell's wardrobe hall, a place where clothing is not mere cloth, but living memory. Inside, the air is rich with the fragrance of cedarwood and pressed flowers. Racks of garments stretch before you, each more wondrous than the last. Long robes dyed in shades of twilight ripple, as though stirred by unseen winds. Cloaks shimmer like starlight caught on water. Tunics are embroidered with threads so fine, they seem woven from sunlight itself. Elves move gracefully among them, their fingers trailing across fabric, their voices soft as they consult one another. Some work at looms set in alcoves, their hands guiding threads that glow faintly, alive with magic. Others bend over embroidery frames, stitching patterns of leaves and constellations into cloth. A tailor greets you with a smile, their eyes gleaming with quiet amusement, as though they already know your size, your history, your path. They beckon you forward and drape a cloak across your shoulders. At once, warmth blooms, not heavy, but comforting, as though the fabric remembers every fire you've ever sat beside. You glance at the mirror nearby, but it does not simply reflect. Instead, it shows you walking through 100 scenes, standing beneath the moon, striding across bridges, sitting by Rivendell's fire. Each moment is threaded into the cloak, waiting to be remembered. The tailor explains in a voice soft as silk. Hair, garments are not just worn, they are lived. Each stitch holds memory, each fold carries song. When the time comes to pass it on, the next will feel your story within. As you wander deeper into the hall, you see more marvels. Gloves that glow faintly when worn, their light guiding travelers through the darkest woods. Scarves that hum with music, their threads vibrating softly, as though singing with the voice of the valley. Robes that shift color with the seasons. Green in spring, gold in autumn, white in winter. At the far end of the hall stands a wardrobe unlike any other, tall, carved from pale ashwood, its doors inlaid with silver leaves. When opened, it reveals not garments, but light itself, folded into the shape of cloaks, woven into the threads of eternity. It is said, these are robes reserved for Rivendell's greatest journeys, worn by those who carry the fate of many upon their shoulders. You do not reach for them. You simply stand humbled as the wardrobe glows faintly, casting its silver across the hall. At last, the tailor takes back the cloak, folding it gently as though tucking away a dream. You thank them softly, and they nod, their eyes knowing, their smile as quiet as dawn. When you step outside, the laughter of elves follows you, mingling with the whisper of fabric carried on the breeze. The hall fades behind you, but the warmth of its garments clings faintly to your shoulders, like memory made tangible. And as always, Rivendell beckons you onward, to another hidden path, another secret waiting to be discovered. The wardrobe hall fades behind you, its soft laughter and glowing fabrics lingering like a memory you can still feel against your skin. The path grows narrower now, leading you down toward the valley's edge, where the lanterns burn lower and the songs of elves do not reach so easily. Here, the air feels different, cooler, thicker. The sound of water still whispers in the distance, but it is hushed, almost cautious. The stones beneath your feet are worn smoother, as though countless travelers have passed this way, leaving only silence in their wake. At last, you see it. Tucked into the shadow of the cliffs, stands a building so plain you might overlook it. Its walls are dark wood, its windows shuttered, its roof heavy with moss. A single lantern swings gently above the doorway, casting more shadow than light. This is Rivendell's silent tavern, a place few speak of, and fewer still seek. Inside, the air is warm, yet dim. A fire crackles in a low hearth, its glow painting the walls in flickering orange. Rough, hewn tables are scattered about, their surfaces scarred with age. A few figures sit hunched over cups, their faces half hidden by cloaks. No music fills this space, no laughter, no song, only murmurs. You take a seat at a table near the corner. The wood creaks faintly beneath your weight, the sound loud in the heavy quiet. A server appears without a word, setting down a cup of warm, spiced drink that steams faintly in the lamplight. The taste is sharp, earthy, grounding. So different from the honeyed wines of Elrond's halls. Around you, whispers stir. Snatches of conversation drift like smoke, never spoken above a murmur. The borders grow restless in a shadow in the east. Not all who wander here seek peace. Oh, it is here, you realize, that Rivendell's travelers gather. Not the lords or the scholars, not the singers or the tailors, but the wanderers, rangers, merchants, and strangers whose stories brush the edges of elvish peace. A cloaked figure shifts nearby, the firelight catching the glint of steel at their hip. Another stirs their drink slowly, eyes fixed on nothing, as though watching memories only they can see. This is not a hall of joy, but of truths, the kind too sharp to speak aloud elsewhere. And yet, even here, the valley's spirit lingers. A hush that softens sharp edges, a warmth that keeps shadows from growing too deep. The tavern may be silent, but it is not cruel. It holds space for wariness, for secrets, for the kind of silence that heals as much as it hides. You sip your drink again, feeling its warmth spread slowly through you. The fire crackles. The whispers fade. For a moment, the silence feels like a cloak, heavy but protective, wrapping you in the quiet strength of all those who came before. When you step back outside, the air feels lighter. The night wind carries the scent of pine and river spray once more. The tavern remains behind, hidden in its shadowed corner of Rivendell, waiting for the next wary traveler who needs its silence. And before you, another hidden path opens. Not of shadows, but of light. The cool night follows you as you leave the silent tavern, the hush of whispers still clinging faintly to your ears. But the path ahead glows once more with lantern light, warm and golden, as though Rivendell itself wishes to guide you back toward brightness. Soon, the sound reaches you. At first, it is faint, like the ripple of a distant stream. Then it deepens, layering upon itself until the air trembles with melody. Notes rise and fall as naturally as the wind, weaving together in a harmony so intricate it feels older than language. You follow the music through archways draped in ivy, across a bridge where moonlight dances on flowing water, until you arrive at a vast hall carved into the mountainside itself. Its doors are tall, their wood polished to a sheen that reflects the glow of lanterns. When you step inside, your breath stills. The hall is vast yet delicate, shaped like the inside of a harp itself. Pillars rise like strings, stretching upward toward a vaulted ceiling painted with constellations. The walls curve in gentle arcs, carved with flowing patterns of leaves and rivers. And at its heart sit the musicians of Rivendell, their instruments gleaming like silver and pearl. Harps of every size stand before them, some small enough to be cradled, others towering higher than a man. Their strings shimmer with starlight, glowing faintly as though each is spun from moonbeams. And when plucked, their voices rise like waterfalls breaking into song. You take a seat along the edge of the hall, and the music surrounds you. It is not performance, but invocation. Each note carries weight, each chord a memory. The elves do not look to their audience, nor to each other, but inward. Eyes closed, faces serene, fingers moving with the certainty of those who are not playing music, but remembering it. The sound swells, filling every crevice of the hall. Some strings sing clear and bright, like the laughter of children. Others hum low and deep, like the voice of mountains. Together, they weave a tapestry that stretches beyond Rivendell, beyond the valley, beyond time itself. Your heart aches, though you cannot say why. The music touches something hidden, something you did not know was waiting. You see images not with your eyes, but with your soul. Green hills rolling beneath golden skies, a river flowing endlessly westward, faces you have never known but somehow miss all the same. Tears slip down your cheeks silently, unnoticed, unashamed. Around you, others sit just as still, their eyes closed, their hearts carried along the same river of sound. When the final note fades, it does not end. It lingers, resonating in the bones of the hall, in the stillness of the listeners, in the chambers of your chest. Silence follows, but not emptiness. It is full, sacred, unbroken. The musicians bow their heads. The lanterns dim, as though even the light must rest after such a song. And you rise slowly, unsteady, as though the ground itself has shifted beneath you. The music follows you into the night, not as sound, but as memory, an echo you know will never fade. Outside, the stars shine brighter than before. The valley seems deeper, the air sharper, as though Rivendell itself has been reborn in that song. And ahead, the hidden paths call once more. The last echoes of the harp linger in your chest as you wander back into the cool air. Rivendell feels different now. Every lantern flicker, every rustling leaf, every ripple of water seems touched by the music, as if the valley itself is still humming softly beneath the night. The path curves gently upward, away from the heart of the halls. You follow it, drawn not by sound or voices now, but by the pull of moonlight spilling across stone. The air is crisp, sharp with the scent of pine and distant snow. Soon, the terraces fall away behind you, and you find yourself climbing a hillside that rises just above the valley floor. The lanterns grow fewer until at last they vanish, leaving only the moon to guide your way. When you reach the crest, you stop, breath caught in your throat. Below lies Rivendell, bathed in silver. The waterfalls glisten like streams of starlight, tumbling endlessly into pools that shimmer faintly under the sky. The bridges gleam pale, delicate threads stretched across the dark. Every tower, every balcony, every tree seems softened, hushed, transformed beneath the moon. But beyond the valley, the world opens wider. The forests roll outward in endless waves, their crowns glowing faintly like rippling seas of silver. And farther still, the mountains stand in silence, their peaks crowned with snow that shines brighter than glass. It feels as though you could walk forever across them, stepping from ridge to ridge, never touching shadow. The hillside itself is quiet, but not empty. Fireflies drift lazily through the grass, their glow pulsing like tiny heartbeats. A gentle breeze stirs the tall blades, carrying with it the cool murmur of the night. Somewhere close, an owl calls once, low and haunting, before the silence folds itself back into place. You sit upon a stone at the hill's crest, letting the valley stretch before you like a dream made real. Time loosens. Minutes pass, or hours, or none at all. The night seems endless here, not heavy, not dark, but vast, eternal, filled with silver wonder. And then, faintly, you notice something else. Along the far edge of the hillside, almost hidden in shadow, is a trail, narrow, overgrown, easy to miss. It winds upward, not down, climbing toward a ridge that disappears into mist. It feels older than the path you walked, older even than the valley's bridges. Its stones are cracked, its edges softened by moss, as though countless feet once passed here long ago, but have since fallen silent. You rise slowly, drawn toward it. The night stirs with possibility, and Rivendell whispers with promise. For though the valley below shines eternal, there are paths above it. Secret ways that lead not to safety, but to mystery. And in that moment, standing on the hillside, you realize Rivendell does not end where its lanterns stop. It breathes beyond, in shadows and ridges, in forgotten trails waiting to be found. You take a step toward the hidden path. The moon watches, silver and patient. The valley hums softly behind you, and the hillside holds its breath, waiting for you to follow. The moonlit hillside fades behind you as you step onto the narrow, overgrown trail. The mossy stones feel cool beneath your feet, softened by centuries of silence. The air grows quieter here. No hum of harps, no rush of waterfalls, Only the hush of the wind and the faint whisper of your own steps. The path winds upward, curving along the ridge. Mist curls around you, silver in the moonlight, clinging to the rocks like breath. At times it feels as though you are walking through a dream, one where the world fades in and out, leaving only fragments of starlight to guide you. And then the mist parts. Before you lies a lake. It is small, hidden in a hollow between ridges, as though the mountains themselves cradle it in secret. The surface is still, so perfectly calm it mirrors the night sky, without flaw. Stars burn upon its waters, sharper and brighter than in the heavens above, until it feels as though you stand between two skies. One beneath, one above. You step closer, breath caught in your throat. Every movement seems amplified here. The soft crunch of grass, the faint rustle of your cloak, the quiet rhythm of your heart. The lake does not ripple, does not stir. It holds the stars in silence, an endless canvas of light. Along the edges, reeds sway gently, their tips crowned with faint glows like lanterns, placed by unseen hands. You kneel by the water's edge and dip your fingers in. The surface ripples outward, and the stars shimmer, scattering like jewels across the night. Yet in moments, they return, steady, unbroken, as if nothing had touched them at all. It feels sacred, ancient, perhaps even older than Rivendell itself, a place where elves once came to seek answers, in the stars reflected at their feet. A place where time folds in upon itself, where heaven and earth blur. For a moment, you close your eyes. The stillness settles into your chest, deeper than sleep, deeper than thought. You feel as though you could stay here forever, suspended between sky and water, dream and waking. And yet, the stars begin to change. Not above, but below. On the water's surface, the constellations shift, weaving themselves into patterns that do not match the heavens. A hunter appears, bow drawn against a beast of flame. A ship sails across endless waves. A crown glimmers, surrounded by shadow. Images form and fade, as though the lake remembers stories long forgotten. You realize it is not just reflection, it is memory. The water holds tales as old as the world, written in stars and silence. You watch until your breath slows, until your heart matches the rhythm of the lake's eternal calm. And only then do you rise, stepping back carefully, reverently. The stars remain steady, patient. The lake waits, timeless, holding its secrets until the next traveler dares to look. When you turn toward the trail once more, the night feels different. The stars above seem brighter, the moon closer, the valley deeper. You carry the lake's stillness with you, like a hidden treasure stitched into your soul. And ahead, the path waits, leading you toward the final secret of Rivendell. The starlit lake lingers in your memory as you leave it behind, its surface still etched with constellations that seemed too alive to be mere reflections. The path winds downward now, carrying you slowly back toward the valley's heart. The night air is cool, rich with the scent of pine and moss, and the hush of your steps feels almost like a farewell. Soon, you glimpse lanterns once more, faint pinpricks of gold through the trees, swaying gently in the breeze. The familiar hum of water returns, distant at first, then closer, until the silver ribbons of Rivendell's waterfalls gleam before you again. But now, the valley looks different. You see not just the beauty of its halls and bridges, its music and gardens, but the hidden paths you've walked. The silent tavern where whispers gathered like smoke. The grove where twilight lingered eternally. The wardrobe of starlight. The harps echoing like rivers. The moonlit hillside opening into silver seas. The lake where stars told forgotten stories. Each place has given you something. Not knowledge to hold, but a feeling. A memory stitched into your soul. Rivendell has revealed itself not in grandeur, but in secrets. Not in the halls of lords, but in the hidden corners that few seek and fewer still remember. You pause at the valley's edge, where the path stretches outward into shadow. Beyond lies the wide world forests, mountains, endless roads that wind toward both peril and wonder. Rivendell will not follow you there, but it will not leave you either, because Rivendell is not just a place. It is a presence, a song hidden in silence, a light tucked into shadow, a reminder that beauty lingers even in forgotten paths. Wherever you go, it will hum within you. The hush of its waters, the shimmer of its lanterns, the stillness of its stars. You take a final breath, slow and deep. The night folds around you, gentle and protective, as though the valley itself is saying goodbye. And then, with one last glance at the silver towers and the endless falls, you step onto the path beyond. Rivendell recedes behind you, but not from you. For its hidden paths will remain eternal, carried within your memory, ready to be found again in dreams. The night deepens. Your steps quiet. Sleep rises to meet you, soft and certain. The fire has burned low, the night has grown still, and our tale comes to its quiet end. Yet stories like these never truly end, do they? They linger, in the stone of old castles, in the songs of travelers, in the whispers of trees, or in the dreams of those who remember. The world we visited tonight, whether filled with magic, wolves, hobbits, or ancient heroes, remains alive, waiting for us to return whenever the night feels long and sleep feels far away. So, as you close your eyes, think of what we've shared together. Perhaps a wolf's howl under a frozen sky, perhaps a lantern flickering in a wizarding village, or the sound of rain falling on an elven path. Whatever it is, carry it with you into your dreams. Let it guard you, comfort you, and remind you that even in the darkest of nights, there is always a fire still burning and always a story yet to be told. Rest now, dream deeply, and remember, no shadow lasts forever. Until next time, stay safe and sweet dreams.